The Night of the Hunter is a 1955 haunting and disturbing thriller fantasy. It tells the story of psychotic preacher Harry Powell, who grows close with widows in order to later kill and take the riches their previous husbands left behind. The story follows two young children who are responsible for keeping the $10,000 hidden safe that their dad stole and gave to them before being sentenced to death. In jail, Harry Powell learns about these riches and takes to their mother Willa. When John and Pearl's mother is murdered by Mr. Powell, they take to the river and find a God-fearing woman, Miss Cooper, who takes in and protects orphans. The story ends with Powell's ultimate arrest and death sentence. This film came to life with director Charles Laughton and cinematographer Stanley Cortex. Charles Laughton was born in England and in 1923 attended the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts to begin his career in acting in theater. He became one of the most well-known actors in Hollywood. In the 1950s, he decided to try out directing. At the time, The Night of the Hunter was a failed box office release, which is one reason why he decided to stick to acting and directing stage productions. However, later, it went on to earn critical acclaim for being one of the best of the 1950s. This was able to occur with the help of cinematographer Stanley Cortex. Stanley Cortex at the time was working on perfecting his skill in psychological drama. He was able to manipulate light and dimension to create wonderful depths of emotion and fear. Charles Laughton's first words to Stanley Cortex were, "So you are the new cinematographer to solve our complex photographic problems?" With Charles Laughton's faith in Stanley Cortex, they were able to complete a film that used various cinematographic elements to create tension and raw emotion. Looking at movies defines cinematography as the process of capturing moving images on film. Although it might seem to exist solely to please our eyes with beautiful images, it is in fact an intricate language that can contribute to a movie's overall meaning. In order to get a sense of the movie's use of shadow and shot type to convey meaning, we are going to look at two scenes from The Night of the Hunter. The first scene we will look at is the murder scene of Willa. They begin with a wide shot that includes Willa in the bed and Mr. Powell standing over her in the shadow. The way the light shines on Willa but avoids Harry is there to show the innocence and surrender Willa had accepting the next events. Harry in the shadow shows the evil side of him and the monstrous act he's about to complete. Another scene that uses light and shadow, as well as shot type, to give the audience confidence that good would trump evil, is the scene where Miss Cooper is sitting on her porch with Harry Powell out on the lawn. Both characters are shot back and forth in similar shot types with neither one taking up more of the scene, and are placed where the light illuminates their faces. This is able to show that Mrs. Cooper and Harry are equals in this scene. Mrs. Cooper is not created to be a helpless old woman with the help of the way the light works in this scene. Stanley Cortex plays with lighting and cinematography quite a lot in his career. Another one of his works was Smash Up, the Story of a Woman. He used lights to convey the drunkenness of the main character by placing flashing lights inside of the camera. Taking the time to configure the lighting on a scene can provide much more feeling and information than one may typically think. It certainly played a huge role in The Night of the Hunter. Charles Laughton and Stanley Cortex's partnership created a film that told a very chilling story through visual fantasy. English writer David Gritton wrote in a piece that Laughton was wary of Hollywood and its machinations. His experience on this film may simply have convinced him to stick to acting, a side of his talent once lost to us. Thankfully, we were given the chance to witness at least some of his talent in The Night of the Hunter.